Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. Today, we're going to be navigating and embracing change and talking through how we actually carry that out in our lives. Change is uncomfortable, whether it's a shift in the market, a pivot in your business, or a personal transformation. Change can feel like the rug is being pulled out right from underneath you from time to time. But here's the truth. Change is not our enemy. It's our invitation to grow. Some of the best opportunities are on the other side of us accepting discomfort. Why do we resist change? Resistance to change is hardwired into the human psyche, into the human brain. And neuroscience has told us for better than 80 years from my research that uncertainty triggers the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and survival instincts. And that's why even positive change can make us feel so unsettled, and all sorts of anxiety and anxiousness just literally bubbles up to the top because it is an innate part of us. We were born with this programming. But when we reframe change as a catalyst for innovation, that calls for us seeing the situation differently. It calls for us interpreting what's going on from a positive lens. When we're able to do that, we begin to see that it's not actually a threat, and we can use this data to calm ourselves down, to reassure our minds that we don't need the extra umph of cortisol right now. We're firmly in control of the situation. All is well. And when we're able to do this, we're able to calm everything down and get to a place where we're settled. And it's here where the opportunity is able to present itself. We get an opportunity to work with the situation, albeit a wee bit uncomfortable, but it's at this point that this tremendous learning opportunity is literally realized and starts to move forward in a very positive way. There are basically 5 different strategies that I want to share with you today to really help you navigate and embrace change. I will set the stage by sharing with you as well that when I first came into personal development and self-development, and I started taking it very serious, one of the first things that acted as a resistance for me was this idea of stepping outside of my comfort zone. And I have to tell you, I was in a stagnant state for a very long time as a young manager until I was able to beat this specific cycle. Many of the things that I'm getting ready to share with you, I've used firsthand, and they are what we call intent known good. That is to say, these are strategies that are tried, true, tested, and they work all of the time. The first one is looking at uncertainty again through a different lens. In cognitive behavior therapy, one of the mechanisms we use for really isolating and working through a particular mindset issue, this particular technique shows us how we label situations, and how we label a situation will determine how we experience it. So instead of seeing something before you, as we share in intro, as being this scary, big, difficult something or another, we want to see this as, oh, the universe has thought so much of me to provide this learning opportunity. Not sure if it's going to be for me or for someone else, but because I'm in a continuous learning mode, I welcome this change. When you can speak to the circumstance with that level of clarity and definition, you have then translated yourself out of the negative aspect of this. catapulted yourself into the positive. And it is here where you're able to get all of the benefit that this particular circumstance or situation has to offer. The simple shift calms the brain's fear center, turns down cortisol, and allows you to activate creativity. Again, you need to be on the positive side of the spectrum for this to take place. The absolute opposite takes place if you sustain a negative bias or you continue in that behavioral pattern that is well known for you. Number two, we're going to be practicing micro adaptive thinking. This is something that I've just began using, and it is profound. Stanford research calls this the psychological flexibility. And this is your ability to pivot quickly without losing momentum. What do? You start, as the title suggests, micro. You start very small. You embrace one new challenge a day, something very, very small. And perhaps you're going to habit stack. Add this to something that you're doing in a sequence of events that's already working for you. You're just going to bolt on one little thing, and perhaps that one little thing provides you a small amount of discomfort. And then what happens is you begin to embrace new challenges more readily. And as you begin becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable in this micro model, you are then able to apply that to different situations, different circumstances, conversations, your business, how you interact with others. And there's this really cool mushroom effect that takes place just by making these micro adaptive changes, principally in your thinking and then in your execution. We also like to deploy for the right people what are called anchoring core values. And all this means, family, is that change is easier to navigate when you're grounded, right? So we're defining non-negotiables here. We're looking at the purpose. We're looking at the vision. We're looking at the values, all of these things that are resident in us. And we're making sure that those are rock solid. We can stand on these values. And if they're shaky, we're replacing them. And if they don't exist, we're building them up to the level of those that we are able to stand on. If you haven't taken a good concentrated look at what are the things that help you form opinion, that help you have color in the world, that give you the ability to expound on a particular topic, beliefs, behaviors, the way that you feel and think about certain topics, this is going to be one of those homework assignments that I would highly encourage you to take on. The more that you know about you, what makes you tick and what makes you angry, what makes you not so angry, and what makes you emotional, and all of the in-betweens, the better off you'll be able to be as it pertains to change, both the navigation part and the embracing part. Next, there's building a supportive environment. If the core folks, if the core friends, if the core community that you reside in, do life in, are participating in on a very frequent basis, is not one that is supportive, that is to say, they're not doing life, don't endeavor to do life, aren't experiencing the same growth opportunities that you are, then you have to reconsider that specific group, what role they're going to play in the future. Because for you to be able to get really comfortable with navigating and embracing change, you're going to have to do that with people that are a little bit above you or either right there in the thick of it with you so that you can be an encouragement one to another. Mirror neurons in the brain cause us to subconsciously adopt the behaviors and emotions of others around you. And for this reason, it is incredibly important that we position our success such that we put ourselves in the right environments that is going to give us the sustainment, the support, the encouragement so we can go the distance. I like to surround myself with people that are a little above where I am, maybe a lot above in some case, so that the same neurological responses take place, but in a downward mobility, such that now I'm getting their behaviors. I'm getting their emotional EQ. I'm getting their level of adaptability to change. And this is how you enter into a continuous improvement process. And finally, there's a piece of this that often is missing from the equation, and that is to celebrate adaptability in the same way that you would celebrate success. When you start out on those micro journeys and you start positioning yourself to navigate and embrace change with just those small steps, when you see that one has worked, that one has been successful for you, in the same way that you were to win a tennis match, basketball game, ball game, a foosball game, and you celebrate, you should celebrate your ability to make a small change and move through that in a way that creates success for you. That level of adaptability is paramount because we know that small things, when done consistently, turn into big things, whether you're on the negative end of the spectrum or the positive end of the spectrum. In this case, we're on the positive side. So we learned through these micro changes in our thinking that we can then span out into all of the other areas that form life and our existence and participation with life. And it can be in such a way that we become very comfortable, again, being a little uncomfortable. So much so that we're able to excel without any emotional responses and without the cloud that is prevalent when our cortisol levels are high. When you're able to celebrate adaptability, you get a dopamine hit. That's that feeling you have right after you've done a run where you're just feeling really, really good, right? Those hormones are being released to help you understand that, hey, we've done something good. And therefore, to this point, there's some celebration that is warranted. These are 5 very basic steps that you can utilize right now to help you get very comfortable with navigating and embracing change, knowing that by starting small, it's going to then grow over time into something that is much greater than how you initially started. We have to know that change is inevitable. If there's one thing that we can count on, it's change. Look at the pace of our world, the pace at which technology is changing, the influx now of artificial intelligence and various other adaptive AI agents and other different types of AI models that are entering the equation at a very rapid pace. We have to be flexible, family. We have to be able to embrace change because if we don't, we get left behind. But when we embrace change, we've got a higher degree of courage. We can realize new strategies, and our level of intentionality can be incredibly high. So the next time life throws you a curveball, just ask yourself, what can this teach me? Is the opportunity here reframe whatever negativity comes into something positive that you can align your values, your vision, and your purpose to, and then wait for yourself to settle down and then go after it full bore with everything you got, starting small and graduating with celebrations along the way. And what you'll find is that you won't have any problem whatsoever navigating and embracing change. And thank you so much for joining us today for this episode. Please consider leaving us a rating and a review. Helps us to reach more people. Feel free to contact us via our Linktree app. The link is available in the show notes. I would like to remind you that you are enough. You can do it, and you are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and keep embracing change.